Hey everybody, this is Paul, and today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about set extensions. Everybody's done this. It's not a real shocker, but I've got a scene here for a movie that I'm in the process of doing some editing for. I will not name the movie, except I know the director will recognize this shot. This was shot with a Red Epic, 5K footage, really nice stuff. But what I wanted to do is, in this particular scene, we've got this real nice clean line here. We got the guy coming in on the horse. There's nothing going on back there. It's not really much interesting. So, I thought it'd be kind of cool if we spice this up a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting. So the first thing we're going to do is create a set extension, and we're going to do a matte painting behind to fill in the area behind these trees. Possibly even replace the trees, to be honest with you. Not overly enamored with the trees, but so let's get started. Let's see how fast I can crank this out, because in the minute I've been talking, nothing's happened, and you guys are getting bored. So I've got a couple shots here, some things that I'd like to use. And so we're just going to create some layers. I took this screenshot off of the footage just so I had something to work with, but the camera does kind of tilt to the right a little bit. As the rider gets closer, I've got another shot of the final position of the rider as he gets up over the hill here. You can tell the camera's turned to the right. So one of the things about my set extension, it has to extend beyond just this area here right in front of me. But for the sake of what we're doing, I'm gonna show you what we got here. All right, so we've got this. I did create already a kind of an alpha channel, but we're not going to use that. What we're going to do is, and I'm a little rusty on this, but there's a way we can create a better alpha channel to just separate these two, and I have to remember how to do that. All right, so what we're going to do is, for the sake of this image here, I'm just going to go with this right here. Let's get rid of all these other items. These all came out of the After Effects composition when I exported the entire thing as a. I'm just going to get rid of that, and we'll go from there. And then we're going to rename these things. Let's just rename this. There's got to be a way. Yeah, come on. Come on. You're going to let me rename. I always get to rename this stuff. Well, I guess I'm not going to rename it. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. That could be the case too. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to apply this. And then we're going to add, what is it? We're going to effect. No, I didn't want two of these. Man, I'm just all over the map here. Let's delete that one. Okay. Let's see, now we're going to add, where is it? Where's it at? Intersection. I know all this, it's just been a while. This shows those are colors. No. Channels, path, toolbars, history, pair. There we go. I'm so stupid. Alright, let's go to maybe I'm not as bright as I think I am. I don't want a gradient. I don't want a channel mixer photos. Shows black white color balance. It's not letting me do that. Maybe I need to go here. Let's try that. No, it's not letting me do that either. Not photo filter. Curves, brightness, contrast, gradient, solid color. I'm gonna pause. Alright, so I'm an idiot. And here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to pull this guy up here. Turn it on. I got this really cool mount range, right? So I like it. It's pretty snappy, whatever. We're gonna. What the hell? There it goes. And we're gonna make this big. I like it. Look, that's cool. It's gonna make a good background layer. But I want it to be larger than the screen. That way, when I import this as a when I actually import this, I want it to be that I want it to be cool because I don't know what I'm saying. Ah, man, it's a rough day. There we go. So I wanted to be able to make sure that it's going to stretch far enough to the right here. So when I import this thing in, and the scene pans from left to right, it's going to pick up the mountains. It's going to continue to go into my scene, and it's going to look like it's still in the background. There's still stuff going on over there. But that being said, we have to kind of blend it into this. And I have this natural line right here. So I'm going to put this actually behind here. I'm going to select this, and what I like to do is I'll use actually white and black paint to kind of color this in. So like I'm all white, so now if I go all black, look at that. What's cool about this is it allows me to, I'm not really affecting the image, I'm affecting this vector mask. So it's like I can undo anything I do, it's not a big deal. All right, and it allows me to also kind of really, I can get in there and just nice and cleanly work around this tree line here. Not gone too crazy, and then you can actually do all this stuff. Not sure if anybody can hear me, but that's the idea. So now it's going to be a little tighter. And we'll kind of clean that up a little bit. Now what I'll do is I'll come down here and I'll just adjust my flow and my opacity. So we're going to crank this down. We'll put this down about 50%. And then what we're doing is we're not getting too wild with it, but we're allowing some of this to creep through. Might be a little bit much. Let's so yeah, we can kind of blend it as best we can. Then what you do is kind of have this then what you can do is, so we have this I'm really just kind of playing with it. We're going to drop this down a little bit. Then I'll go back and grab my paintbrush. I don't like strong edges, so we're going to hopefully deal with that. Oops, see what I'm doing? I'm on the wrong, I do this all the time too. Let's get rid of that. There we go. All right. All right, let's go back to our layers. Make sure you click on that. It's nice and easy. And we can Then we're just kind of going around, cleaning up a little bit here and there, getting this kind of opened up a little bit, so we can kind of work in this. Blending it in. And then we'll blend this in. And we'll doesn't have to be perfect. But now we can go find a tree line. Let's find a tree line. Let's see if I can find a tree line. Something that's gonna work. Let's see, what do we got here? Trees, trees. There's more trees. That's kind of cool. Kind of like that one. Kind of fits. It's pretty cool. Let's say this. Let's download this image. You gotta make sure you download the right size image. So you're gonna download that image. Then you just show in the folder. Back. Makes you know. So there it is. So I kind of like this image a little bit. This image is pretty cool. If I wanted to blend this in the background some, and we can make these two kind of like seamless. Oh, why is it a group? It's why it's a group. That's silly. I don't want it to be a group. Oh, there it is. Man, I'm just thinking all kinds of stupid things. None of it's working. Okay, so here, we're going to unlock this. Let's take it over here. Let's drop it there, because, yes. Yeah, let's do it. Alright, there we go. Let's turn that off. This guy right here is now massive. I don't even know how big it is. Fine. Look at the size of that. That's crazy. Once again, we're gonna kind of like the idea of mixing this thing up. Maybe shrink it down a little bit more. Not really worried too much about some of this stuff. Maybe kind of like the tree line though. Alright, let's do this. Alright, so there we're going to go to, I just realized I did something. So we're going to go here, and we're going to put a mask on that, and then same principle. We're just going to kind of clean it up. I don't think we'll go 100%. We'll go 100%, and then we're just going to. So we'll just fill this in a little bit. What's cool about this is, so it just kind of blends in with the tree line. And if you think you made a mistake, you can go back, just grab your paint brush, and you can fill it right back in. So you just kind of fill that in. That adds, see, that kind of blends in with them. And what's cool about that is we don't have to, and we can pull this down. What's really cool is you can kind of bring this over a little bit, right? And it looks like it's kind of blending. And then, you know, he's really far away. It's not a big deal. And then you could pull him closer, you know. So now one of the things I didn't like necessarily about this is I kind of, this guy's kind of big. I'd like to see these mountains a little bit back farther, a little bit more clouds, a little settled. That's pretty cool. But now I want this, I kind of like this in here myself. So I'm gonna say that on this guy right here, where we got the mountains, we need to allow these clouds to kind of poke through. So I want to kind of get rid of some of this up here. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a deal there. And same principles. Let's just kind of figure out what we want to remove, and we'll remove it. So, I mean, you don't have to go crazy with it. And the cool part is, once we start breaking some of this down, you got these nice these banks in here. And I kind of want this to be really misty back here. And then you get this really cool deal. And I'm gonna let that kind of blend in. So now we've got sun, we've got some mountains, we've got this guy riding up on a horse. And the cool part is I have just created a set extension to blend him into the shot. And it only took 3 images, which is really, really nice. And I can freaking do whatever I want with this now. So it's like, if I feel like that's not enough, I kind of need, maybe, it could be that this image isn't a good image to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this image. Now I'm going to bring in the original image, which is kind of cool. And I'm still recording. Unbelievable. I got pictures everywhere. Where's my original image? I know it's here. I know you're here, you little jerk. Where you at? Oh, there it is. I'm gonna pull this in, and you can see I got these really cool clouds. You can see it's kind of off in the distance, but it's really small. And of course, it made it another group object, which pisses me off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to uncork that thing and drag it over here. Not there. Come on. There it is. There it goes. Yeah, let's do that. And what's cool, I mean, even just like that, that's cool. You know, that right there is actually pretty cool. So I'm going to turn this off, and I didn't want that there. I wanted it back in behind that, and it really adds depth to this. And then I can pull this over here. Let's see, we get some. Oh man, I thought there was more going on here. I do like that. So I'm gonna play off that. Let's see. We'll just kind of a little bit of clouds up in the corner here. It's like it's in front of the mountains, it's behind the mountains. Really cool stuff. So, all right. Now let's take one last gander at this. I kind of feel like this is kind of a harsh line. And you can see where it's settling in. So I'm gonna actually, I'm gonna actually stretch these out a little bit. I'm gonna pull this down just a hair. Yeah, let's stick it back up. There we go. Okay. Now this guy right here, we're gonna swap this out. I'm gonna restore some of this a little bit. We'll put a little bit of that back. Of course, it's way down on opacity, so let's bring this guy up. Let's drop our brush down, kind of like that. Bring this out, right? Make it look like it's part of it. Bring that out. Just make these guys stand out a little bit, and then we'll take them back. There we go. All right, I like that. That is cool. That is awesome. So, and remember, we're only using. Honestly, we're gonna load this. We're gonna send these as layers. So we're gonna import this as a PSD file. So we'll get each layer, and then we can stage them back, and we can move them. So we get some parallaxing in there as he's flying across scene and on that horse, and you got these badass mountains in the background, and you got everything kind of really cool. I kind of want like a dirt. I'd like to get some dirt, but I think he's gonna run across here. And I'm going to have to rotoscope him out of that shot now that I put these lower lying trees down kind of like in the foreground. I need to kind of blend him into that. But that being said, it is pretty badass, and that's what we're going to run with. So I'm going to save this and take it into Premiere, into After Effects. Okay, so now we got the shot in here, so now I'm going to track the motion of the camera. So I need to pick a couple spots, make sure I put it on full. And then I'm going to track a couple high-profile shots. There's a little bit of twisting left to right, so I need to make sure that I'm picking points that are going to stand out. So I'm going to do that right now. Go over here, go down here to our tracker. Then I'm going to create a null object because I got to link all my set extensions to it, and then we're going to set that. We're going to set this is our source right here. I got a little mask there I'm not using at the moment, but I'm going to track a couple parts here that are high enough that I can see them and they're going to stand out. So we're going to track rotation and everything, but you have to make sure you click on the footage you're going to track, and then I'm going to track my motion, and it's going to should give me 2 markers. It's going to start out with 1, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click a spot here that's hopefully going to stay pretty well stable, and then I'm going to track my rotation, and I'm going to pick another spot that'll help me kind of even this out. These seems like decent spots. These are high contrasting differential spots. So the idea is that it's going to track the X and the Y, and then there's a shift. So this is going to take a few minutes, so we're going to go ahead and start that and see how well it works. See, it's moving away. Okay, so here we are. We've got this on, we were over in here, and I came up with this initial shot, but it looks like that shot's not necessarily going to work very well because it's not going to all fit, which kind of sucks, but you gotta work with what you got. And I was going for a dusk, so what I did, the first thing I did was I kind of instead of rotoscoping out the skyline here, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to replace most of these trees anyways, because these are tall pine. These are a different kind of tree than the area where the film's supposed to be happening. It's supposed to be in Eastern Europe, and so I decided I'd go ahead and replace all this background. So the first thing I did is I went over to this really cool place called pixels, and they've got some really high resolution photographs. And what you got to realize is, you're going to go ahead and, if I map this out and I show you how this plays out, if it loads, oops, over here, okay, and you can see I'm running about 20, almost 30-40 seconds, and the horse is going to come all the way down here. It's going to come in front, and the camera's going to shift from left to right. So it's going to shift from right to left. So your extension, your set extension, has to actually be wider than the framing is on the right and the left, and you have to take that into consideration. You also want to do some parallaxing, so to provide some depth between the different layers. So you've got trees that are going to be up front. If we look at our photo again, we had trees up front, we've got mountains, and then we've got clouds in the back, and the trees kind of funnel up in between the mountains. So when we come in and we start adding our elements in, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our mountain. Let's go back to our composite. So my computer's not as slick as others. So here you can see we're not running the same size shot that we were running, but I had to actually make these a little bigger, because even though I had to make the mountains a little bit bigger so they could account for the fact that the camera's going to shift left to right. And then I'm going to add my clouds, and that's going to give me the cloud effect, which is cool. And then I'm going to add my close-up layers, which are going to replace this tree line. And so I've got a first primary layer, which is this front set of trees, and I guess I could put this in full just while we're watching it. So you pretty much get that original shot that we had in Photoshop. Then I'm going to add my secondary set of trees, which is just an extension off to the left here, so that I can account for the fact that the camera's going to pan left, the camera's going to pan right. And the horse rider, if you notice, I've gone ahead and I've masked out the horse rider for these 30 frames or 30 seconds of footage. And what's nice is, I just did a basic mask. You didn't have to do anything special here. And if you go ahead and you turn on that mask, the next thing I did was, you notice there's a slight outline around the feet of the horse that is kind of noticeable. So my solution for that was I created a fractal noise in a white layer. So this fractal noise is actually masking the rider initially as he comes up, and then I added this ramp, and the ramp is actually a luma mat for this fractal noise that causes the fractal noise to just dissipate. So if I turn this off, it would go all the way across the screen. I don't want that, right? So then I'm going to turn this luma mat off this ramp, and that's going to have it dissipate, because I just wanted it in this little area where he's kind of coming in shot. I've linked everything to my null object, so everything's mapped. Then basically, here's what it kind of looks like at a quarter speed. And you can watch him. He's going to come through the shot as it buffers. And the cameras, everything's synced up real nice. I probably should show you this. I went ahead and I did a top view. And if you look at my top view, it's kind of hard to imagine, but picture the cameras over here. Here is our horse rider, right? And our horse rider and our tree line, and then a few feet back, a little bit back, we have the mountains, and then farther back we put the clouds. That way we can get some parallaxing effect as the camera shifts left to right. I don't want to go crazy with it, but I did want a little bit of an effect. So we'll go back to our master shot. Oh, not master, that's the camera. I want an active camera. It's a little bit different position. So we go ahead and we'll watch them right up through. This was recorded at 120 frames per second, I believe. So super high speed. At 23 frames per second, so 120 frames per second, and his playback is 23 frames per second, and was shot with a Red Epic, I believe. So this is 5K footage, and that's why my computer is really having a hard time processing this thing. But you can see that it's actually, once he gets closer to the camera, he blends actually very well with the matte shot that we did. If given more time, you really can crank this up. And in this particular scene, our main characters riding out from town, going out of town, heading to another location where he's going to meet up with some people. And I just thought, here's a good example of a way that you can really take something. This was shot right here in East Texas, and we can make it look like it was shot somewhere exotic and really expensive. And it doesn't take but a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, and then you got yourself a very unique shot that looks very believable. Now, the last thing I did was I added an adjustment layer in which I put a lens flare just for dramatic effect. And you can see the outcome. I didn't stick the flare on the screen. As you can see, it's way up here, somewhere up here. Yeah, where's the flare? It's up here somewhere. There it is. All right, so the lens flare is actually off shot, but I wanted to kind of keep with the idea that this is a sunset and the sun is kind of streaking through the clouds, and you can see it works out perfectly with where the horse is lit and the way the hills are lit. And you can do a lot of matte paintings, and one of the things you always want to make sure is the angle of the objects that your photographs you're pulling from. They need to kind of like coincide with the angle of your shot. So you can't take a photograph that was shot at a different angle and really make that work. So you got to do a little bit of search and find photographs that kind of fit the right angle of your shot, like we did here. And the other thing is lighting. You want to make sure the lighting is hitting the right side of the hills if they're hitting the right side of your subject. And the same goes for everything. You want to play with that. Now the other element to this is this was in the film, this is an evening shot, a dusk shot, and obviously this was shot in the middle of the day. So once I pull it over here and I've pre-composed it, then I went ahead and I applied it a color grade. Really kind of darkened it up a little bit. Just didn't want to go crazy with it. May have gone a little too far. We'll see. But give you an idea what that looks like in full mode. This is what the actual image looks like. And it's very, very late in the evening. As you can see, it's dark down low. You got the fogs rolling in. So it looks really cool and creepy. And I think that's going to go a long way towards this film. So I hope I gave you everything. I'm going to slap a few things together and show you how I cut this together real quick, and then we'll go from there. And that until next time, you guys have a good time, and until next time, don't be afraid to try things. Have fun. It's just you can't screw this stuff up. This stuff's easy. All right.